Welcome to another episode on our channel. We're going to be talking about World War I that started in 1914 and ended in 1918. There were a lot of variables that contributed to World War I, but probably the straw that broke the camel's back was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austria-Hungary throne. He was assassinated by someone from Serbia secret organization. Russia backed Serbia, Germany backed Austria-Hungary, and eventually lots of players came into this particular world war. There was Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire. This is a representative from the Ottoman Empire. There was Bulgaria on the central force side. On the Allied source side, Russia was the first entrant, and they exited actually before the war was over, 8 months before the war was over, because the communists had their revolution in 1917. So March of 1918, they were out of the war. But France, Great Britain, Italy had remained neutral, even though they were allies to Germany before World War I. They joined the Allies, though, towards the end of the war. The United States did as well. On the Allied side was Japan, China, and so forth. So it truly was World War and lasted 4 years. Unfortunately, even though the war came to an end and things started to settle down, there was a lot of economic unrest that was placed on Germany, financial consequences that eventually led to fertile soil for Adolf Hitler to rise and World War II to take off. It's usually during economic hard times that people get really crazy. And we're seeing some of that right now. There's economic hard times. We're not war-free right now. We are not in a world war situation, and hopefully we won't be, but it's a lot of economic distress creates a lot of craziness, it seems. So I do have Ottoman Empire represented. I do have Germany represented from World War I do have the United States from World War I, United Kingdom, France, and Russia. I need to get Japan. Hopefully I can get Japan before I get through this set of episodes of World War I, I'm hoping. So we're just going to start with the Ottoman Empire first. We're going to start from the feet and go slowly up so you can capture the details on this particular soldier uniform as well as accessories. I am missing ammo packs and bindings for the legs, but he looks pretty darn good. Then we'll do some close-ups from here on up, side to side, and then of his face. So we will be right back. So these are not plastic boots. They're actually made of material, but they're very light colored, which is kind of surprising. It doesn't seem to be quite a match with the uniform, the OD green there, but it does kind of match the K98 Mauser bolt action. So I guess it works a bit. You can see the sheath that holds the scabbard that holds the bayonet on his left side. The belt is missing the K98 magazine pouches. And if you go lower on the screen here, he is missing the bindings to the ends of his pants, like gaiters. So I am missing two things, which I do intend to get before I show both the German and the Ottoman Empire soldier, as well as the World War I other players on the Allied side. So the belt is really cool looking. It has a crescent and star in the middle. If we see along the side of his torso, and you go further down next to the bayonet, he has a canteen there. You'll be able to see it in the turn from side to side. As we go up further, we can see that mustache that men were fond of wearing back in the early 1900s. And what's different, there should back up. There are a lot of similarities between this uniform and German uniforms, but what is distinctly different is the hat. So this has more turban-like qualities, which would be appropriate for the Ottoman Empire. So we'll pause now and get side-to-side shots from his hands on up. We'll be right back. I was just going to go side to side, but you'd miss a lot of things. You can see his bayonet on his left side. His canteen is going to come into view here. The bread bag is down here, and of course his backpack, his food container, the bedding, all that stuff. Very, very similar to German types of equipment. And of course the Mauser. Yeah. So there he is. Again, I'm missing the ammo pouches and the leg bindings at the end of his pants, but hopefully I'll have that when we re-show everyone, Central as well as Allied powers. So we'll get some tight close-ups of his face now. We are back, and the big question was what head to put on this guy. So I went for this, what has been advertised on eBay as a Jake Gyllenhaal head. It doesn't look like Jake Gyllenhaal to me, but it has been advertised as such. And I decided, okay, let me look at some Ottoman Empire World War I photos of soldiers and what do they look like. They're not clean shaven. There are a few that are clean shaven, but the majority are not. The majority are not mustache and beards. The majority are mustaches only. So I decided to put a mustache on him. And of course, one of these was, I guess, a popular mustache back then in the Ottoman Empire. So I think it does this guy justice, makes him look a little more Turkish. And I think that's appropriate. So we'll go side to side so you can see him from different angles. Made this mustache with magic sculpt, painted it, and I think it does do him justice. The only thing I think I need to do is maybe darken his hair a little bit more. But other than that, I'm really happy with the outcome. There you go. I should have mentioned that when I put everything on this body, it worked out wonderfully. The body was a good match for the uniform and the accessories and so forth, but the joints were very loose at the legs, and he would flap over. And I said, oh my gosh, I don't want to change him out and get a different body and put the clothes back on and so forth. And then I decided to look on the internet for fixes. There's always something on the internet that can help. And they were talking about, I forgot what it's called, but it's this kind of plastic material that when you heat it up, it adheres and tightens to what is heated up and what it's on. And if you take the legs apart, you could put this tubing, cut it to fit, and use a heat gun and allow the connection to grab better so it doesn't flip over. And this body actually had a crack also in the front part of the section where the legs join to the joints. And I thought, well, that probably won't work. If I take it apart, I might break the whole thing apart. And so what I ended up doing is taking elastic, just thin, like the width of the strap here, and just wrapped it around the leg joint on the inside. Just wrapped it around a few times, tied it in place on both legs, and now his legs are perfect. He can He can be posed. He can hold his pose. He's not flopping over. So yeah, I was pretty pleased I thought of that idea, and it worked. So I imagine you could do the same thing with a rubber band. Just wrap it around a few times, give it a little more friction there, tightness in that joint, and that should work as well. But that worked out well. So in the end, he looks great. I've got a mustache on him that makes him look even better. I am missing two things, the magazine pouches and the bindings at the end of his pants, but I should be able to get those shortly. I'll re-show you him when I get done with all of the World War I figures that I have. I'll show you both the Central as well as the Allied powers that I have. Recognizing I can't get them all because I don't sew and I can't make things unless there are things that come close to what they look like. So regardless, I hope you've liked what you've seen. This is Ottoman Empire, World War I. Hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.